Welcome to the Community Difference Frisco, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, and also sponsored by Jax Crider with PBJ Mortgage,
Lauren Gill with My Live, Love, Travel,
Debbie Watson with Abracadootle, Bethany Rowan with the B. Rowan Realty Group, Liliana Aranda with Window Hero, Eric Buchanan with Goosehead Insurance, Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach, and by Sean Neidig with Chicago Title. The Community Difference Frisco was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Frisco starts now.
Well, good afternoon, Frisco, and welcome to the Community Difference Frisco. We are a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I'm your host, Brian Poduska. I'm the owner of Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments here in the DFW area. I am located right here in the beautiful city of Frisco. Live in the beautiful city of Frisco. So super happy to be on another week. You are watching episode number 58 of the Community Difference Frisco. So we are in year 2, month 2 of the show. If you haven't seen us before, we are essentially a community-based podcast, spotlighting 5 different types of people within our community. So community leaders, think politicians, board members, things like that, business owners, entrepreneurs, Frisco ISD leadership, nonprofit leadership, and sports leadership. We are Sports City USA, after all, here in Frisco. So those are the type of guests that we have on. We have rotating co-hosts each week, and we have a business topic that we discuss every single month. So with that, one of our rotating co-hosts is Jax Crider. She is on today. Lennon, why don't you go ahead and bring in Jax, if you don't mind? Hi, Jax.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you today?
I'm great. My favorite holiday, it's really hard for you to tell that that's my favorite holiday, is up tomorrow. So yeah, I'm great.
I was just going to say, your dress look great in the red with the red lipstick and everything. I love it.
Exactly. I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, good to see you today. We don't have our second co-host this week. Sean, who will be co-hosting with you, will be joining us in March in this week's slot. Unfortunately, he's traveling this week, so couldn't be on this week, but he will be on in March. Our other co-host is none other than the creator of The Difference, Mr. Landon Wilson. He's going to be sitting in and riding shotgun with us. Before we get to Landon, what I'd like you to do, Jax, is just remind the audience who you are, what you do, and then if you wouldn't mind introducing your guests as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I am Jax Crider. I am the founder of PBJ Mortgage, where we're making mortgage simple as making a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I'm just saying, guys, mortgage doesn't have to be boring. I mean, we even have mascots named Peanut Butter and Jelly, Dachshund Sisters. So, so that's what I do for a living. But mainly, I'm just trying to help you financially succeed. And I have an amazing person coming on today. It is Sapna, and Sapna is a parent coach, which you're like, wait, what? Parent coaching? I'm just going to be real. Sometimes I want to kill my toddler. So she's probably a great person to know so that, you don't want to try to give your child up for adoption, like has crossed my mind a time or two in the last year of the 3-dager phase. I'm not going to lie. So we're excited to have Sapna and have her give all of her great insight on how to make sure that you are doing parenting the right way.
Love it. Well, let's bring Sapna in and say hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, great to have you. Thanks for joining us today. Look forward to diving into your business and pick up a few tips, hopefully along the way, how not to strangle my children. But Before we do that, one question for you, Sapna. You're a resident of Frisco. What's your favorite thing about Frisco?
Oh my gosh, I've been here for 20 years and I've seen how much it's grown. I just love Frisco, the new businesses that are opening up, how clean and safe, most importantly, safe it is. The schools, oh my gosh, I just love the school district here. I just cannot imagining living anywhere else. After you've lived in Frisco, it's going to be hard to live anywhere else.
All right. Well, we like to hear that as in the real estate community. So, just as you move houses and stay in Frisco, we're happy to help on that front. But no, like I said, great to have you today. Thanks for being on. Lennon, why don't you bring yourself in and say hello to the audience?
What's up, everybody? I didn't get my red lipstick today. Jax
Dang
didn't tell
it,
me.
Lyndon, what?
Sorry.
He's saving it for the actual day of Valentine's Day tomorrow.
That's it. All about it.
I mean,
So,
I even have a heart-shaped Jax on my cup. I'm just saying, guys, this is really extra.
wow, it truly is your favorite holiday. I'm impressed. You are representing quite well. Well, Lennon, remind the audience who you are. I mean, we all know you, but if you haven't seen the show or if you haven't seen the difference, we've been doing this 5 years now in some way, shape, or form, right? The Community Difference Frisco started just over a year ago. But we started as The Difference live stream radio show podcast in a padded wall studio, soundproof studio in person. And we've evolved to something very similar, but quite different, right? And it's been a fun ride. So tell everybody who you are.
Well, I am Lyndon Wilson, and I started The Difference 5 years ago. Brian was the very first partner that I brought on board. So he has been here since day one. He's seen every growth and pitfall that we've had. And I really appreciate Brian for his contributions that he's made along the way. We just have a passion for bringing the positive stories about our neighborhoods. A lot of times all we hear are the negative things. And so we want to celebrate the people, places, and events that are making our cities outstanding and introduce them to the residents and just make a better, stronger, more unified community. That's what we're all about.
Well, amen to that. And, what I didn't mention is the fact that we are live. So we do go live. And over the course of 5 years, we've had our fair share of bloopers. So at some point we will have enough content. I guarantee you we have enough content, but
we've got enough content. Yeah, we got to put it together.
I was going to say we should definitely make an episode of bloopers.
We'll have a highlight or a low light reel, however you want to look at it, at some point. But no, it's been an awesome ride, and we've come a long way from that studio 5 years ago to where we are now, and I'm super excited to where we're headed and the great things that are just happening organically, within the show and within the community. So super excited about that.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, we're going to take our first commercial break, give our sponsors a little bit of love. We'll come back and we'll dive into what's going on in Frisco. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Bethany Ralwin with the Beer Ralwin Realty Group, Liliana Aranda with Window Hero, Jax Crider with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Abracadoodle, Eric Buchanan with Goosehead Insurance, Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach, Sean Neidig with Chicago Title, and by Lauren Gill with My Live Love Travel. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up Frisco?
All right, welcome back. And we are in the What's Up Frisco segment. We are going to talk about all things going on around Frisco, big, small, and in between. And what I mean by that, we're not just talking about massive community events. We will mention some of those, but if there's a networking event or a fundraising event or a job opening that somebody has brought to our attention, we'd like to share that during this segment. So that is what we're going to be talking about for the next few minutes. So Jax, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know you've got a couple things that you want to put a spotlight on.
Yes, I sure do. So, first of all, this is where we ask the community to get involved because these things actually both came out of our amazing Facebook page. So, if you're not a part of the Community Difference Facebook page, I highly encourage you to be a part of that because it is going to give you the opportunity to highlight what events are going on in our community so that we can make sure we are supporting you and the local businesses here in our area. So, the first thing is, if you remember, we had as a guest the Mudbugs Bar and Grill couple who started and they merged with the Rebel Patio. And so they're actually going to do this weekend on Saturday, the 15th from 8 p.m. to midnight, a Luke Combs tribute and shotgun rider event. So if you like live music, you want some really amazing food, this is a great opportunity to go out, enjoy yourselves, maybe a little late Valentine's Day date, something like that. It would be a really fun opportunity. The other thing is not necessarily an event, but more of a request. So the Love Packs here in Frisco, if you guys are not aware, that is an organization that provides meals for families in need. They have requested people to adopt a box. So basically provide a box, either monetarily, bring them items, mainly because we have got spring break coming up. And so there's a lot of families that are reliant on those free meals they get at schools to be able to support their families. And obviously with spring break, we're going to be off. So if you are interested in helping sponsor that, you actually can text Love Packs Frisco. So LOVEPACS Frisco to 44321. Okay, so that's Love Packs Frisco to 44321, and you can donate to them, or you can also go to their website as well. But these are some great opportunities for us to support our local community here in Frisco, and we are super appreciative that these people put themselves out there to get some shout out here on the show.
Well, we do appreciate that. That's a fantastic organization, and what a lot of people don't realize is that the need for that here in Frisco. You know, we have that image, and people walk around with the thought that Frisco doesn't have any poverty, doesn't have any food scarcity, doesn't have any hunger issues. Well, guess what? It's real. There's this program. They work across the entire Frisco ISD system, and they are able to put food in kids' mouths while they're in school. But when it's spring break, it's becomes a bigger challenge. So love that they reached out. Love that we were actually able to get that information out, and we'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that. Oh, also the Mudbugs, they're friends of the program, right? They were on the show about a month and a half ago. So
they were.
Glad to see they reached out on our Facebook group as well. So that's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you, Jax. Appreciate you sharing that. Sapna, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know you wanted to mention something specific to your business and an event that you have coming up. So it's all yours.
Hi, thank you. I'm having an event in July. I'm partnering up with a teen coach who helps teenagers with entrepreneurship, speaking engagements, and authors writing books. So she and I are partnering while she takes care of the teens and helping them open up and becoming better speakers. I help parents. I show them how to be supportive, how to have the tools, the communication skills, whether your child is a great speaker or having trouble showing up, fully in public. Either ways, I'm going to help parents have those communication skills and the tools. And plus, you get free food. So,
Free
food's always a good plug.
Yeah, free food's always a winner. No, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. All right, Linda, go ahead and the man of many talents who can produce the show, pull up my slides, and also participate, never ceases to amaze me. So I'm going to talk about Chunk Your Junk real quick. It's coming up this Saturday right there on Walnut Street in downtown Frisco. This is for things that are too big or environmentally unsafe to put in your trash. So swing by 6616 Walnut Street on Saturday to take all of your stuff that fits that category and get rid of it for free. All you need to do is show a driver's license that has a Frisco address, and you should be good to go. Then we've got the President's Day one-day camp with the Texas Legends. They're the G League team right here in Frisco, February 17th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. If you go to their website, you can check out the details on that. But the cool part is every camper will receive a free ticket to the game on the 22nd if they participate in this camp. So swing on by their website and get your kids in that camp on President's Day. And then we've talked about this in the past. We've still got time to register. The program is the Citizens Police Academy. So if you want to get more involved with the police, understand literally from a hands-on perspective exactly the things that our police department do. One of the top-ranked police departments in the country. They have a program going from March 20th to June 5th. It's in the evenings. I think it's on Thursday nights from 6:30 to 9 p.m. You can see all the topics they cover. You're literally riding shotgun, at least for a little bit of time, with a police officer. Awesome opportunity to get involved. So check that out. There's a QR code there if you want to register. And I talked about this last week. After the show last week, there was an informational session on it. It is the Frisco Community Center for the Arts. This was approved to go to the ballot, which will be in early May. Essentially, it's approving the funding for this project. It's a large-scale live theater venue up. It'll be on the north side of Frisco. Really key for expanding Frisco's arts and culture initiatives here. One thing to note, there's a lot of details that you can find on the website, so I'd highly recommend educating yourself before that vote comes up in May. But so go to the Frisco Gov or Frisco Texas gov.gov page, check out the information on this project. But I do want to echo that the money is not going to be coming out of property taxes. So you're not going to see a property tax increase because of this. It's EDC funding, CDC funding, Prosper ISD funding. So there's a lot of different components to it. Whether you're for it or against it, please educate yourself just so you can vote educated. All right, next up, Adopt a Park. I did want to mention this. This is an ongoing program with the city of Frisco. And I want to bring this up because of our audience, right? So small businesses, medium-sized businesses that may be looking for a project that they can do together, a team building type project, you can adopt a City of Frisco park. You can see the examples of the activities there, clean playgrounds, paint fences, etc. You basically own not the maintenance, but the keeping a park in tip-top shape for a year. You can get your sign put up there if you choose to do that. But it's a great way to keep Frisco's park system tip-top shape. And then I want to, again, continue to talk about this. This is the Frisco ISD Business Incubator Program. Essentially, it's Shark Tank for high school students. So any budding entrepreneur can join this program. It's in 5 of the 13 high schools here in Frisco. Essentially, like I said, it's a Shark Tank opportunity type thing for students who are looking and getting into entrepreneurship and want to learn more about that. They're looking for volunteers. So reach out to Ashley Sign. Her information is there on the screen. They're looking for volunteers to coach, mentor, and potentially be on the panel when it comes to presentation time. And then I'm going to talk about some things going on at the NAC Theater, which is in downtown Frisco. It's a lovely 200-ish seat live theater location just on the east side of the tracks in downtown Frisco. This Friday, so Valentine's Day tomorrow, it's Candlelight Concert. So if you don't have any plans yet, get some tickets to the Candlelight Concert for Valentine's Day. Then the day after that is Sing It Like Swifty karaoke competition. So Lennon said he has his entry in for this already. If you want to see him.
I actually thought you were going to enter it, Brian.
I thought it was Brian too.
You know,
that's what I thought. Last month, I thought that we had a discussion that Brian is the Swiftie among us. So,
if I can, I've got real estate duties this weekend, but if I can, sneak in there, I happen to know the guy who owns the place. Maybe he'll slide me into a spot in the karaoke competition.
Just make sure they video it.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll play that live. Guarantee you we'll lose all viewers at that point. All right, next up. Okay, this is Frisco's Got Talent, also at the NAC Theater. forget the date on this one. I don't see it real quick here, but
January 24th.
Okay. January.
No, that's when they announce it.
Yeah. No, this is, I think it's a couple weeks after the Swifty thing. So it is coming up though. It's in February. So I don't see it on the screen there, but it is coming up. This is the 4th annual. There's been some awesome.
It's either Thursday, the February 20th, or Friday, February 21st. Looks like.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, this is a pretty cool little production. And if you have any talent at all, or if you don't, like me, you can get a spot on stage if you want. We do have some local celebrities on the panel. Good times there at the NAC Theater coming later this month. And then one last thing I want to mention here is Justin Hill, an act straight out of Nashville. He was scheduled to be at NAC Theater in January, but because of the inclement weather, he wasn't able to make it. So his new date is March 14th. Doors open at 7:30 p.m. that night. I believe that's a Friday or Saturday, one of those. But it's in March 14th. Come check that out. Early opportunity to see a budding star straight out of Nashville right here in Frisco. This will be the final thing I think we have in the lineup here, but this is the Pro FTB. So these are former NFL players that have all gotten together to participate in a golf tournament. So they will be up at the PGA Frisco March 21st through the 23rd. There is a prize for this, so it's not like they're just out there horsing around. You got some big names going in this. I think Marshall Faulk is in there. You see my guy Brian Urlacher, Go Bears, on the screen. He'll be participating, and they'll be there all week. So not just during the competition, but they've got a pro-am set up, I believe, where they're playing with some local amateur guys, and then they'll be there just to shake hands and sign autographs. So head on up to the PGA Frisco 3rd week of March. It'll be a good time.
All right.
Is that all I got?
I think
that's all you got, bud.
I was going to say, I think the only other thing we were going to talk about is our sister show, which is the Community Difference Plano, is doing their Business Development Alliance event. And this is an amazing event. The last time I think we had like 60 some odd people, Lyndon, last count.
65 is, I think, was a final number.
Yeah, you have to RSVP for the event. It is happening on, I believe it's February the 27th. Yep. It is going to be from 11:30 to 1. And Plano City Councilman Shelby Williams is going to be the guest speaker. There's also going to be a panel. It's a great opportunity for you to come out, meet some like-minded business owners. It's completely free. You just have to RSVP. So please make sure you RSVP, and we would love to see you there.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a great event, and we're looking forward to this one as well. We will be kicking one off soon in Frisco. I'm working on a venue right now for that. Hopefully we get the one Brian and I have been trying to get. So we'll see about that. But it's a great networking event.
It is.
I was going to say, it just gives people the opportunity to really, do what we talk about, right? Not only be the difference, but also connect in a way that is not just referral based, holding your hand out, right? There's going to be some teaching. There's going to be some ways that you can kind of mesh, which is make exceptional stuff happen. Brian, I'll say it the correct way. And, so this is a great opportunity to meet like-minded people. What'd you say?
I said, I'll correct you later on the S word.
Okay, I think that's a great point that you make, though, Jax, is the difference, no pun intended, the difference in the BDA and a lot of others is that a lot of times your networking is kind of informal, and we bring a more formal, structured approach to how to take that first introductory meeting and get into something and start building momentum and building an ecosystem of something that's actually going to be productive for your business rather than just more social.
Absolutely. Well, and it's also an opportunity. So for those of you who don't know, we dive deeper into the topics that we already talk about on the show. So if you listen to us regularly and you really love to be able to learn and level yourself up and to get into rooms where the thinking out thinks you, here's a good opportunity for you to take that even one step further to the next level with this BDA event.
Very good. Couldn't have said it better myself. Stole it, Brian.
great minds think alike. No, that's you summed it up very nicely, Jackson. We hope to see you out there. It is awesome. I got to speak on the panel last time, and it was a fun experience. And I think not only did we talk about whatever we might know, right, but it was an interactive panel. So I thought it was really cool that we got to learn some pointers from the audience, and we had audience participation. Certainly encourage audience participation throughout the BDA events as well. So yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Good job, Jax. Thank you.
Great. That's a great point that you make. And we said that on the show earlier today, is that our audience stepped up and had some really deep, good points. And I got to thinking, I'm like, man, if I'm sitting there wanting to network, I just figured out all the people I want to meet because they were so deep in their knowledge and the things that they, and their insights. So you kind of get to know people better that way.
I was gonna say, I've already met with a few of those kind of people offline, and we're trying to mesh. We're doing exceptional stuff. So, I mean, this is a great opportunity, guys. Like, not just for us on the show, but for you guys as well to meet some great people and to connect with them.
Love it. Well, good summary. We're gonna take a commercial break. After that, we're gonna make exceptional shit happen. We're gonna talk about the business topic of the month. So stick around.
I knew you had to do it.
He can't help himself. He's just got to do it.
He can't. He really can't.
The Community Difference would like to thank each of the following partners for their continued support. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
Now back to the show.
Okay, welcome back. So we're going to spend this segment talking about our business topic of the month, which we have a rotating topic every month. So we are in the second week of this topic, and the topic is building the right relationships to build your business, leveraging strategic networking to unlock untapped opportunities. And I like this one, and I guess it dovetails nicely off of our discussion, or at least the highlights of the BDA, right? Because I think what the efforts that we're doing with the BDA and really overall with the difference and the community difference, we're doing things, as Lennon mentioned, a little bit differently and a little bit more in depth, I guess I'd say. So what I want to do first is just kind of break this topic up a little bit, because I think there's a lot of really good nuggets in the topic. So again, building the right relationships to build your business. So first thing I want to focus on is right relationships. And then further on to the topic, leveraging strategic networking to unlock untapped opportunities. So I do want to get into how do we define strategic networking? What are we doing to be strategic about things? And then, of course, the end of the topic, which I think is the most important, is that how do you utilize and tap into those untapped opportunities? So just kind of an overview of what I want to get into as we get into this discussion. But let me throw it out to the group, and Sapna, since you're our guest, I'll let you share your thoughts first. But when it comes to building the right relationships, right? So how do you define, like, when you meet somebody or when you target to meet somebody, what do you consider the right relationship, and who are those right relationships with?
Well, Brian, for me, especially after learning what I've learned all these years on parenting, the best relationship or the start of any other relationship begins with your relationship that you have with yourself, the deep connection that you have with yourself. So it starts there. Everything starts there. Because if you're not aware of what's happening within you, it's going to be hard for you to connect with the person in front of you. And connection is one of our deepest needs as human beings. We can sell the person, but first we have to know the person, right? If somebody doesn't have children and I go and try to sell them something that's not related, I'm going to turn off that person. But if I'm connected to myself and then I learn about connecting and bring up the right topics, they might not have kids, but they might think of somebody who has kids and might be thinking, you know what, I think this person would be, I should connect these two, in some way, because they both will be helpful to each other. So it starts with connecting with yourself. How do you feel? Because if you are having some simple thing as nervous jitters, that's going to show up when you talk to the person in front of you.
I like that. That's a good start when it comes to relationships. If I always joke around, if I can't entertain or laugh at my own jokes, then who else is going to laugh at them? Similarly, as far as building relationships, I hope you got to start with at least knowing yourself a little bit, right? I like that a lot. From a difference perspective, right, Jax and Lyndon, I'll throw this out to you guys. Who do you think the right relationship is, and how do you? I'll take it as the second part of that question. How quickly does it take you to determine whether or not they're the right relationship? So Jax, ladies first. I'll let you answer first.
I was going to say, so I like Sapna's idea of like knowing yourself, because for me, knowing myself helps me be more relational and look very intentional at making those strong connections with people that are like-minded. So for me, I'm usually a fairly good judge of character, and I'm almost instantly either like, oh, wow, let's build this relationship and I'm going to learn more about you, or I'm very turned off. Like the second it's all about, let me have your card, let me have a meeting with you, and I just want to tell you about what I do, because I always want to come from a value-driven place. So for me, it's very easy to see if it's about value and that's what they're trying to drive, right? Is like, how do we not only drive value for each other, but how do we drive value for the bigger whole? Versus, oh, well, I'm just looking for a quick fix and how can you increase my business, right? I definitely more relational than transactional for sure. And so that's how I tell.
Yeah, and that's something we talk about, all the time, and the differences, avoiding that transactional versus relational type relationship. And I don't want to keep pounding on the BDA, but that's a lot of things we talk about. And the reason for being with the BDA is that, it's not one of those events that you just go to and you trade business cards. You're there to either start or build on existing relationships. And that's a lot of what we talk about, ecosystem. Lyndon mentioned that, or maybe it was you, Jax, who mentioned that term earlier. That's certainly a big part of it. Lyndon, we've been through, 5 years of this, and people have, join the difference, obviously, and stay with the difference, and people have left the difference. And, so we've learned a thing or two about the transactional versus the non, the true relationship, and what is that right relationship. So how do you define that when you're running the difference?
Well, one of the things that it's the difference has taught me, and I've said this, you and Jackson both have heard it, is the difference, and everybody that comes within the difference, it's all demonstrable. You cannot hide and fake who you are within the difference. Your true character, your habits of behavior, your patterns of behavior are going to reveal themselves because of the way we're structured and we're set up. So going back to business days before the difference, the number one thing that I wanted to do was create a formal process to ensure productivity, because I think that sometimes our networking is too casual. It's a little bit more social than professional. And so in order to create a formal process, one of the things that I needed to be able to do also is determine if our core values aligned. And so, and to able to do both of those, I had to have a formal process myself of going through it. And it's not like an interview style or interrogation, but I wanted to get to know that person. And I realized that a lot of times you can't get to know the person within the first meeting. So I developed a system that has 7 contact points over a period of time in less than 6 weeks, with a series of questions, of get to know you questions. And you kind of start seeing if you have alignments. The other thing that helped me do is to pinpoint or identify opportunities that may not have to do with revenue generation or the growth and development of my business. There could be other opportunities there. So for me, and that kind of leads to the untapped, and I don't want to get ahead of our topic here, but that allowed me to let the process reveal the opportunities. So rather than going in and saying, I'm looking for this, and if this person can't do that, then this is a dead relationship. I went in looking for opportunities through a process where opportunities I hadn't thought of, like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. Now I've got a partner that develops what Jax called before the ecosystem, right? So there's all these different opportunities that are producing opportunities for everybody, if that makes sense. Makes sense to me anyway.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting because I've thought about the different opportunities that we've identified with doing what we're doing, right? As part of the difference, whether it's a community difference that we're doing now, or, heck, we had a sports show going for a year or so a couple of years ago. But all the different opportunities that opened up, and both from a relationship standpoint and also from even a marketability or business and brand building standpoint, has just blown me away as I think back on it. So yeah, it makes sense from a relationship standpoint, and it makes sense just from a business blocking and tackling and branding and all the things that we've talked about. So yeah, no, good point.
Well, you've seen this, and I know even Jax has, being here, almost a year now, if she has been a year, but we've implemented more formal processes because we realized the shortcomings that we've had along the way that has led to some fallout, right? And so had we been more diligent in who we're partnering with and how we're partnering, I feel like that and I think we believe this, we could have served that particular person or those group of people better, and they could have been more successful in what we're doing. So I do think a formal process, and I think people are afraid of that in some sense, because they're so used to just business card exchanges. And I think that if you get into a formal process where you have, one of the things we mentioned the other day on the show is you have a purpose before profit. And if you're approaching people with that mindset, and you're looking to create a purpose or to execute a purpose, the profit's going to come at some point in time. I think Sapna, she described that perfectly, that if you're always looking for an invoice, or you're always looking for a check, or you're always looking for a referral, you're going to be chasing forever.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a tiring race for sure. All right, Jax, I think you were going to ask a question.
Well, I was just going to say, and it kind of goes a little bit to what Lyndon was sort of talking about, is I think as you're starting to find and pinpoint these, relationships, right, that they're the right ones, they're the ones that you can build on and build through, how do you decide how to then go deeper and create that ecosystem, the collaboration, the strategic type of expansion, right? That really is going to allow your business to move to the next level, allow you to scale, help you create these processes, right? Because the truth is, as a solopreneur or even like a small business owner with just a couple of employees, one of the bigger challenges, right, is scaling, is coming up with a business plan that is expansive enough to allow for growth and strategic growth. And some of this is finding those right relationships. So, Sapna, do you have any thoughts about the ways that you maybe try to do that in your own business?
Oh, yeah. One of the key tools that I use in my business, be it my business or teaching the parents, is becoming curious. Be really curious about the person in front of you, be it your children, be it your clients. What are they looking for? What are their needs? How can you bring, like, we were talking earlier about the value that you can bring to them. It might not necessarily mean that you have that, but you must be always thinking in terms of how can I add the value? Maybe I can introduce this person to the person, because they're going to remember that. They're going to be remembered that you put them in front of you, and that's huge. And every time they remember you, they're going to have that fond feeling of, yeah, this person was so helpful to me. That's going to lead you into, be it scaling, building those connections further, or even with your children. When you're curious, you always know what the solution is, instead of coming from a place of, I know what is better for you, or I know what is best for you, or I know how to do this. If you lead with curiosity, it opens up lots of doors.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sapna, have you are you a Ted Lasso fan?
Ted Lasso, yeah, I've heard about him. I don't know much.
Reason I ask is one of Ted Lasso's key teaching fundamentals, or his platforms, is always be curious, and I love that show. It was awesome, and it's funny. There's a lot of whatever fluff in it, but some of those key takeaways from that show, as far as motivation goes and things like that, be curious was one of them, and it's absolutely spot on. The other one, be a goldfish, I think, is basically you screw up, forget about it. The goldfish have the shortest memory apparently of all animals or whatever, and so no, but that's awesome. Great point. What I want to do is make sure that we hit on the untapped opportunities part of the business topic this month, right? So how do we, and I'm going to throw this out to the group, how do we hit those untapped opportunities, and how are we leveraging, and maybe if you guys have a personal example, it would be great to share, but how are we leveraging these relationships to hit that untapped potential, right? That untapped opportunity. Does anybody have an example that they want to share?
I think that when and it's kind of like when you're trying to figure out how to create a differentiator or be an innovator, one of the quickest things that you can do is as Sapna said, be curious and ask your current clients what your industry is missing, because they're going to tell you. And when they tell you, or when you're in a collective group like we are today, and we're having these conversations, and we're talking about what our community needs, what's our community missing? What are the residents of our community needing that we in this group today could provide to them through the platform that we have, or other platforms like this? It doesn't have to be the community difference, but you have to be curious to find the untapped opportunity. And that's a challenge sometimes for some people, because a lot of times you get into conversations and you ask a question and people don't know the answer. And so you might be in the wrong group when that happens, right? You might be in the wrong group. But the untapped opportunity is how I can serve someone in a way no one has either been willing or thought of yet. And sometimes serving doesn't necessarily mean selling my business, my product, or my service. For instance, this morning on the Wiley show, we had a gentleman that came on. They're having a fundraiser this weekend. They're selling T-shirts. They're having a big barbecue for a firefighter that got cancer. And so they were, we found out about it through Scott Johnson. Y'all knows a firefighter. And we were able to bring them on and announce and present, what they're trying to do through our audience. So that's an untapped opportunity for them. It was an untapped opportunity for us to be able to serve, and nobody's selling anything there, if that makes sense. I just think that when you're looking for different opportunities, you got to have, as Sapna said, the curiosity and be able to see things you're not normally looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And it goes along with the mesh term, right? How do you make exceptional shit happen, right? And we sat around a table a couple weeks ago over at Didi's in downtown Frisco, right? And had a conversation of, all right, how do we get out, think outside the box? How do we goes to that curiosity point, right? We may not have direct business together. The 3 or 4 of us sitting around this table, the 3 or 4 of us here on the screen, right? But how do we provide opportunity for someone else without that direct, very straight line, linear thinking of, well, okay, if I provide this opportunity to them, it's going to directly equate to something back to me in my business. And yeah, that's a good example there, Lennon, of, the difference, helping Scott out with a cause that he wasn't directly related to, but certainly can help benefit that organization. So that's awesome. We've got a minute or so left. Does anybody else have any other thoughts on the topic? I'm trying to read.
One thing that I would say that I think fits into this, and not to be self-promotional, because y'all know I really don't like that, but the BDA has been something that I think is a great way to reveal untapped opportunities, because of the scale of people that the diversity that we have. We have a speaker, we have networking, we have a panel. We're talking about different subjects that all align, but we're giving everybody a chance to input as well. And I met several people that I had not met before from the last BDA because of their input, because of that interaction, right? And so I think that, the more you can engage, the more people that you can meet. You've got to be, again, purposeful. And I thought that was a great opportunity. The panel was up there. Y'all got to be seen by people that had never seen you before. They got to be seen, be heard, be remembered, right? So they got to get to know you a little bit better. So I think that those are different methods and strategies and techniques of how everybody, it doesn't have to be with the BDA. It can be, you can go do one yourself. But it's just creating a platform and opportunity that will create opportunities. That may sound silly, but when you create an opportunity for people to come together, the opportunities at that point are endless. It's just up to your imagination.
Well, you can also look for, like, one of the relationships that I built. She and I were connecting over education because it's something that we're both passionate about. And so I wouldn't necessarily have thought her as like a synergy partner, like on its face. But when we started talking and I was like, I probably could help educate what she's dealing with, you know what I mean? And vice versa, so that we can sort of, find and mesh and make exceptional things happen for both of us, because it's something that we're both very passionate about. So sometimes I agree with you. It's looking for opportunity where opportunity exists and creating opportunity where things can happen, things can transpire and come out of nothing.
Yeah. I have a question, if I can just ask everybody. So when you are meeting with people, and you're meeting someone for the first time, or maybe it's you've known them for a while, but now you want to pursue opportunities with them, do you have a formal process to go through with a checklist of things that the boxes that need to be checked, so that you feel confident that that's going to be a person you can mesh with? What's your mesh strategy?
Yeah, that's a good question, Landon. I mean, personally, I don't have a set checklist, but I have certain things in my mind, holes that I want to fill. Think of it like a bucket, and that person's a bucket, and I want to get information on that person, mostly personal, right? It's not necessarily about their business. It's learning about how they operate. And you can tell that through a conversation, generally speaking. Until you get into business with them, you may not be able to, but you can generally tell how they operate. And I do ask certain specific questions about what are your, what is your leadership style? I don't ask them that direct question, but based on what kind of business they're
looking for it,
you can kind of tell, right? So there's certain questions that I go into every conversation knowing that I want to get the answer to. I don't have a checklist per se, but I do have kind of a mental checklist, I guess I'd call it.
Well, here's the thing I think we have to think about is when we're getting ready to get into a relationship where we're meshing with someone, and it goes both ways. It's reciprocal, but it needs to be like a job interview. It needs to be that formal because you are about to get into business with that person, right? It's almost like I just hired somebody that I don't have to pay, and they just hired somebody they don't have to pay. And that's what I was going to say before, Jax, when you were talking about scaling. When you build that ecosystem, you're scaling with people you don't have to pay because you're all sharing resources. It could just be intellectual resources, but you're all sharing resources. And so there's benefits there. So you need to make sure that you've got the right person that's not going to be a disruptor at some point in a negative way. We talk about disruption in a positive way, but we don't want that disruptor in a negative way. And we've had those experiences through the community difference. We know how that feels.
I was going to say, I like the idea of a checklist. I've never done checklists, but I could see how, I mean, I, like Brian, kind of have some framework for sort of recognizing if their values are aligned, right? If the way that they handle their business is aligned with mine, etc. But I think maybe creating a checklist and something that we do maybe as a project through the difference would be really helpful to ensure that we are meshing and making exceptional stuff happen because we are trying to be the difference, right? We are trying to help people elevate as a business sense, for sure.
Well, I happen to know somebody that's got some stuff like that that might benefit you. So just let me know and I'll introduce you to him.
Sounds good.
Just making stuff happen, Lyndon, making it happen.
Every day.
That's right. Well, hey guys, we're up against it on the business topic. We're going to wrap it up with the What's the Difference segment. So go ahead and play that sounder and we're going to get into What's the Difference.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
All right. So if you've seen the show before, we used to have this segment at the very end, and I think we've made a nice segment change to move this up to kind of put a bow tie around the business topic of the month, and at least what we're talking about on the show today. And the segment is essentially, I'm going to ask you a question that's going to be relevant to the business topic, and I just like to get your guys' perspective on what you think the answer is, and then I'll kind of read what we might consider the Webster's Dictionary version of the answer to that. So I'll ask one which I didn't get to last week. I asked two last week. I think I'm only going to ask one this week because we want to make sure that we give Sapna enough time to go into her spotlight. But so the question is, what's the difference between individual success and ecosystem success? So the difference between individual success and ecosystem success. Now we've kind of touched on this a little bit, so there may be hopefully a lead-in answer, but Sapna, you're our guest. You're a lady, so I'm going to let the lady go first. What's your thoughts on the answer to that question?
Well, the individual success is going to be very hollow if the environment is not succeeding along with you, and it's going to be very lonely without any meaning. So I would say you're going to be a part of a community, a part of ecosystem. Everybody needs to succeed.
Yeah, I like that. And, not only is it lonely, but it could be a slow journey too, right? So yeah, no, good point. Like that. All right, Jax, what's your thoughts on this one?
I was just going to say that individual business success, while on its face inherently, there's not necessarily anything wrong with it. It does have a little bit of a selfish nature to it, right? Whereas an ecosystem, success is looking for all businesses to grow together, to rise together, to succeed together, right? To come up together. Like Sapna said, I mean, there's a lot of value there, right? There's a lot of really great connection. It allows people to do it faster. It allows people to do it better because there's more mind sort of thinking as one collective whole. Whereas an individual, like you said, it could be a very slow and daunting and lonely process, if you will.
Yeah, no, I like that. Good answer. You know, you can go the lone wolf if you want, but the lone wolf doesn't always eat very well. Lennon, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I feel like I'm cheating because I was already on a show this morning and they talked about it and they had some great answers as well. But, you know, and what Sapna and Jax both said is, you know, individual success. A lot of times it's nothing wrong with that. A lot of time it's a person that has a self-employed mindset. They work for themselves. They're a one-man show, and they're just out to make more money than they made last month, last year, and you know that's their goal, and that's okay. Ecosystem, on the other hand, typically is where we discussed this already, where you collaborate and you bring a group of people together strategically to share resources, share knowledge, create opportunities. You're not just taking opportunities, you're creating opportunities. You're not just exchanging opportunities, you're building those together. And the power of the collective gives you a huge advantage, especially in our communities, because if you're all working on the same project, it gets more visibility. And so you're saving money. The one thing that was said this morning that really hit me is that what's the purpose of your achievement if you don't have people to celebrate with? And with an ecosystem, you've got that team, right? And so when you win, they win. When they win, you win. And, you know, as far as an individual, yes, I may be making more money, but at the end of the day, when I stand up and I cheer because I had my greatest day, who am I cheering with? So that's not the most important part, but I think that that's something to think about. And, you know, the ecosystem itself, it drives its own energy. And that's what I love about it. It's kind of like ecosystem's kind of like having a workout partner.
Yeah. Accountability partner, workout partner. I like that perspective of, you know, celebrating.
Accountability. I was thinking the same thing as you, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's the benefit you get on being on multiple shows. You know, you get multiple different perspectives. Good stuff. Was that Lauren who chimed in? I think
that was Lauren. We got Lauren, Diane, Mina, Liliana, Debbie, Kim checked in, Patrick checked in. We got a big show today. Good. Love it. Love to see the interaction. Good job, guys. All right. So I'm going to read you the answer here. So the question again, what's the difference between individual success and ecosystem success? The answer, individual success focuses on personal business growth, while ecosystem success ensures that multiple businesses within a network benefit together. Entrepreneurs focus on ecosystem success, often scale faster and build stronger brand loyalty. That's a good one. Than those focused solely on individual achievement. So I think you nailed a lot of those points. I like that about the brand loyalty factor. I hadn't really thought about that one before, but that's absolutely true. All right, cool. Well, good stuff. Good conversation around the business topic. Love it. We went a little deeper this show. I know Lennon always prods us to dig deeper, and you know, I think we did a good job of doing that today. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and talk about Sapna and learn more about her. So stick around. We'll be right back.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media, LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, We aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
And now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back, difference makers. Good segue there. So this is a segment of the show where we like to put the spotlight on our guests. So we have one today, which is awesome. Sapna, thank you for joining us today. A difference maker in her own right. So parenting success coach, we were talking before we got on the show, like, you know, we'll have an insurance brokerage or owner of an insurance brokerage on where everybody needs insurance, right? So that target market is everybody. Yours is obviously parents, which is still quite large. We could all use some parenting help along the way. I know we all have challenges. But what the heck inspired you to start a parenting success coaching business?
Well, when I had my son, Brian, when he was 1 or 2, I had started having these emotional outbursts. Like small things would really upset me. Like if he's throwing up, he's gagging. I would have just changed his clothes and he would gag. He would have, he was going through his potty training. Every time he had an accident, I would turn into some raging lunatic. And I still remember one time, my house was really quiet. And imagine having a 2-3-year-old and the house is quiet, something is wrong. So I start looking for him, like, where is he? What's up? Why is the house so quiet? And I go and catch him in the restroom, cleaning up after himself. And as soon as he saw me, he just froze. Like he was so scared of me. When I saw that face on my child, I'm like, I must be turning into some kind of a monster that he's so scared of me that instead of coming to me, he wanted to take care of himself. He should be coming to me. I'm the parent, but he had become so scared of me. So something had to change. I had to change my attitude, my reactions to whatever was showing up with this child. And when I went looking, there were not much out there. You know, there are schools for becoming a doctor, to go to driving, but there's nothing to teach you parenting. So I kind of created this parenting school, so to say, where we learn communication skills, self-regulation tools. We try to understand what's the need beneath the behavior. So we clean up our stuff, so we're completely available for the child. So I went back to school, studied, read books, got certified in coaching. And now my son is 18 years old, and I cannot imagine how my relationship would have ruined if I had not gone back and did all this. And now I go ahead and teach other young parents to do the stuff that I didn't know or I wish I had when my son was younger.
That's awesome. And I'm guessing your son never pees on the floor anymore.
Not anymore. But now that he's grown older, there are different challenges. Maybe when he was younger, it was different. But now with all these social media and the electronics, I didn't grow up with a phone in my hand. TV was the biggest thing. My parents would tell me to turn off the TV. You know, we had one remote and they had the control. But things are changing now. And as he became older, I don't know, whole set of other issues, like he would be in the gaming console all the time and I would be blowing my fuse. But I still remember another time when he was, I think, 14, 15, and I had gone out all day and I told him to turn off after an hour or two. But when I came back, I already had this stuff going on from my work, and I come and watch him playing there. That moment, I stood at the door. I wanted to yell at him, snatch that console from his hand, send him to his room, not let him play. My mind was screaming, go punish this child. But because of what I had learned and what I teach other parents, I paused. I stood there at the door, brought up all the tools that I had been teaching, took a few breaths, and then I just calmly walked up to my child and asked him, "So, aren't you supposed to be doing your homework?" He's like, "Mom, I just started playing. I'm finishing up. 10 minutes, I'll be done." He finished up and he's like, "You want any help in the kitchen?" I could see the whole thing go another way had I not done what I did. Pause for a moment. I would be screaming, he would be screaming, he would be shutting the door off, on my face, and we would not be as connected as we are now. So thanks to my parenting tools that I learned, and I wish more parents have these tools that I had.
Well, love that. And I saw Diane Castle chimed in there. She said she could have used those years ago. So, yeah, there you go. No,
I was going to say, as a parent of a toddler who's potty training, I can feel the frustration. So, yeah. I might need some of these parents myself, Brian, over here.
Yeah, there we go. Well,
we know where to go now. Exhausted. Parents are exhausted, and we have bought into these stories and belief systems from culture that we have to have those clean rooms, clean homes. We have to have those healthy meals. Every meal has to be healthy. We have to have those perfect meals. And when our reality doesn't match what we believe, then we feel all sort of not good enoughness, which shows up in our relationships.
Yeah, no, that's certainly true. Not only for parenting, but for life in general. Especially with social media and all the stuff that brings, it presents some false imagery out there. No, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So you're a Frisco resident. How long have you been in Frisco?
20 years. 20 years.
Okay, now, yeah. So you've seen Frisco grow from a tiny little town of 10,000 to 240,000 or whatever we're at now.
Yes, and it's just getting better and better. When I started, there was nothing here, and now it's just, like I said in the beginning, I cannot imagine living anywhere else after living in Frisco.
That's awesome. Well, what brought you to Frisco?
Well, it was new. We are newly married, and this was a developing place. So we just, thought of giving it a try because everything was new, everything was so fresh. But now it's just gotten better.
Yeah, well, same here. Like, I was shocked by just how new everything was. I moved here 13 years ago, and I didn't have much of a choice to move to the Dallas-Fort Worth area when it came to, all right, we're doing it for employment purposes. One of the reasons I chose Frisco was exactly that, just how new and fresh and clean it was. And 13 years later, here we are still building new shiny stuff. But yeah, pretty cool. So, all right. Along with that growth always comes some things that aren't so fun, right? So what is your least favorite thing about Frisco?
Least favorite thing? Oh gosh, that's a hard one. I really can't think of anything least favorite. I just love everything about this place. I love how we're building this community here. We're getting to know each other. I just wish we had more of the platforms like you are having, so we know about other businesses. That would be great, because now I'm sure not many people know about my business. So you bringing a great place for other people to know me. So this would be, really good. So what you guys are doing is amazing.
Well, love that. And, that's exactly what we're trying to do is just bring awareness and start connecting dots through a slightly different format, right? So we're not meeting in person in a room, but we have the joy of getting to know each other online here and sharing that with our audience. So that's exactly what we've been doing for the last 5 years. From a community standpoint, that's what we've been doing for the last year and a half, and going to continue to do that. So love that point. Thank you for saying that. What do you like to do in your free time right here in Frisco?
Oh, Frisco has such great things. We have trails, it's right in my backyard. We go on those long trails. We have amazing like outlet malls here that they have live music going on. There's so many new restaurants. Oh my gosh. I mean, if I start trying everything, I don't think I'll have enough time through the year. Great parks. It's amazing. Really, this is a great
What
place.
part of Frisco do you live in?
I live at the intersection of 121 and right at the corner of Allen and McKinney and Frisco.
Okay,
It's 121.
southeast corner, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, a lot going on over there, especially
on the four corners.
Yep. Yeah, with everything going on down there.
Yeah, you have to excuse me. I've been just coming off of a sickness, so I've been
You
coughing
and
a lot.
about 50% of the population out there right now, I think, is either in sickness or coming off of it. So no, we can bear with you on that one. Final question for you: What's most rewarding about your business?
The connections parents build with their kids when they let go of their old belief systems or some kind of story that they're holding on to how their child should be. They actually start seeing the child for who the child is. That's very rewarding because they're building connections for their whole life, not just whatever phase they're in, but throughout their life. Even when they get older, they're going to build those strong bonds. So that's really rewarding to see.
Love it. That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Well,
I got one quick question, Brian, if you don't mind.
Go for it. Yep, fire away.
So I get this question asked to me all the time: what is the difference between being a grandparent and being a parent? And my explanation every time is there's just not the same pressure. There's not the pressure to be a perfect parent. So as you said before, the spills, the accidents, the things like that, it's just not that big a deal anymore. You clean it up, you move on. If there's a stain on the carpet, no big deal. And you just get to enjoy the growth and development of the child more. And I don't know if that's kind of what you're instilling, but it sounds like it, to just enjoy the process and not think that you got to be perfect as a parent. Because I think we have this stigma that everybody's watching. And everybody's going to think I'm a terrible parent if I don't discipline or if I don't do these things. Is there any relevance to that?
Yeah, definitely. Parents attach their identity to the identity of their child. So they think whatever the child is doing, it becomes a reflection of them, of how they are raising their child. So they're trying to constantly control the child, trying to fix the child, trying to manage the child, without understanding what's the need beneath the behavior. And in my coaching practice, I help the parent look at the need beneath the behavior, like a weed, right? If you're constantly cutting the weed off, it's going to keep coming up. But if you understand and remove it from the roots, it's not going to come up. So it's like that. Needs are like the roots. Once you understand the needs, you don't have to worry about the behavior anymore. Those are just the symptomatic behaviors that show up because of some lingering needs there. And the parents need to understand that. And that starts when they start getting to know themselves. Why is this spill, I'm getting so triggered by the small spill? It's a small question. You become curious, you understand your own triggers, your own reactivity, and now you're available to see what's happening with your child. With parents, with grandparents, they've already done all that. They understand it. They have the maturity. They've gone through that. So it's very different. They don't have that pressure, like you said.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So the key factor out of that, key takeaway is be more like a grandparent, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good point.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, we're up against it. It's amazing how quickly an hour and 15 minutes flies by. Sapna, really appreciate you and your insights and your time today being on the show. Let's wrap it with this. Please, in 10, 15 seconds, remind the audience who you are, what you do, and then I have a question for you.
Yeah, I'm a parenting success coach. I do a lot of webinars. I give seminars and give workshops. And I have an 8 weeks program for parents who want to learn all the skills, the communication skills, to understand the needs, to have your child listen to you faster and quicker rather than telling them a million times before they listen to you. So I have all the programs. I have mindfulness included in it. They have everything they need in just 8 weeks. And then I give workshops and at schools I speak, and I'm author of the book Yelling to Zenning. You can find it. It's a best-selling book at Amazon. I don't know if you can see this. And Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right, 10-second answer on this one. What's your key takeaway from the show today?
Oh, this is a great place to network, to meet people. Like I said before, not many people know about me. Thanks to you, I'm sure many more people know about me. So this is a great platform.
Awesome. Well, again, appreciate you being on. It was great to learn more about you and your business. Thank you so much. Jax, thank you for, as my regular co-host, being on the show. Lennon, thanks for the special appearance. It was great to see you in person on the show. And with that, guys, that's it. Enjoy the weekend coming up. We'll be back next Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Frisco was made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Bethany Ralwin with the B. Ralwin Realty Group, Liliana Aranda with Window Hero, Jax Crider with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Abracadoodle, Eric Buchanan with Goosehead Insurance, Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach, Sean Neidig with Chicago Title, and by Lauren Gill with My Lid Love Travel. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference.